All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a single chaotic day from our near future, January 26th, 2026, and just try to make sense of it all. You've got everything from so-called secret weapons in Venezuela to massive trade deals and historic storms. Our job here is to connect those dots and see what bigger picture starts to take shape.
And the source material for this really sets the scene perfectly. It describes the world as this grand drama. And that feels right, doesn't it? It's a world grappling with these huge challenges where every single event feels like a scene in a much, much larger story.
So our goal here isn't just to run down a list of headlines, right? We're going to dig deeper to try and uncover the powerful themes that are tying all of these seemingly random events together. We'll look at everything from military power plays to big economic shifts and crises that are hitting much, much closer to home. Okay, so first up, let's talk about this theme of a great power scramble. All around the world on this day, things are really heating up. The major powers, they aren't just talking anymore. They're actively moving pieces on this global chessboard, and you can feel the stakes getting higher and higher. First, let's go to Venezuela. The U.S. is claiming it used a secret weapon called the Discombobulator. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds like something straight out of a comic book, doesn't it? But the claim that it was used to knock out electronic defenses during Nicolás Maduro's capture, well, that sends a very clear message about American tech superiority and its willingness to get directly involved in the region.
And this show of force isn't just happening in one place. Half a world away, the pressure is seriously cranking up on Iran. The arrival of the USS Abraham Lincoln, a full-carrier strike group, is a message you just can't ignore, especially as Tehran is cracking down on its own people. Sending a carrier is a billion-dollar statement of intent. And it's not all about what's happening outside a country's borders either. Take a look at China. A really significant internal move is going down. A top general gets removed for discipline violations, which most experts see as President Xi making another move to lock down absolute loyalty and control over one of the planet's most formidable armies.
And this next one, wow. It perfectly illustrates how this scramble is opening up totally new frontiers. The Arctic. The U.S. is floating the idea of a NATO security framework up there, and Denmark and Greenland are immediately pushing back, hard, calling their sovereignty non-negotiable. That frozen expanse at the top of the world is fast becoming one of the hottest geopolitical spots on the planet.
Okay, but all this military maneuvering, it's not happening in a bubble, right? It's deeply connected to our next theme, a massive shift in the global economy. The world's trade maps are literally being redrawn in front of our eyes, creating brand new alliances and sparking some very new conflicts. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. You've got these two totally opposite things happening on the very same day. On one hand, the U.S. is slapping a key ally, South Korea, with huge 25% tariffs, yelling about broken promises. And on the other hand, you've got India and the EU putting the finishing touches on what people are calling the mother of all trade deals, a massive new economic bloc.
And believe me, the language being used is just as aggressive as the policies. The U.S. fires off this stark warning to Europe, claiming that this deal with India is like financing a war against itself. This tells you everything. It's not just about money anymore, it's about choosing sides.
And all of this high-level economic and political chess, well, it has devastating consequences for real people. Just look at this. U.S. funding for the UN's refugee agency has absolutely cratered. It's gone from over $2 billion down to just $800 million. The head of the agency is warning that we're in a, quote, difficult moment in history.
So you can bet the people at the top are noticing these crocs forming. The big World Economic Forum in Davos just wrapped up, and guess what they were talking about? The growing transatlantic energy divide and, surprise, surprise, the exact same tensions over Arctic resources that we just saw. Yeah, the global elite are definitely worried. So, while the world's leaders are talking about these huge global fractures, back home, especially in the U.S., a whole different set of pressures are hitting. We're seeing this collision of natural disasters, social unrest, and just plain old human tragedy.
First off, you've got Mother Nature, just unleashing. A truly colossal winter storm has been tearing across the U.S. Midwest and Northeast, and tragically, it's already claimed at least 29 lives.
And just to give you a sense of a scale here, we're talking about nearly 200 million people who are still under cold alerts. That's more than half the entire country. This isn't just some item on the news, it is a massive national event that is completely disrupting life for millions.
And at the exact same time this literal storm is happening, a social one is erupting. In Minneapolis, an ICU nurse is killed by federal agents, and it just sparks this wave of national outrage. Protests are intensifying, and it's already led to the removal of a senior Border Patrol commander. It's an absolute flashpoint. But, pressure isn't always negative. On this same day, there's a totally different kind of pressure point emerging. It's the first day of tax season in the U.S., and the government is promising some real financial relief, talking about 20 to 30% larger tax refunds for a lot of families. It's this little glimmer of economic hope right in the middle of all this turmoil.
And look, the world doesn't stop. Beyond everything we've already covered, the day was packed. In Gaza, there's the somber news that Israel has recovered the remains of the last hostage. In the Philippines, a ferry goes down, a terrible tragedy. Japan's prime minister is facing a political crisis, and the EU is launching a formal investigation into Elon Musk's AI over deepfakes. It never stops.
So, okay, let's just take a step back for a second. What does this all add up to? The great power scramble, the economic maps being redrawn, the intense storms and strife at home. When you lay all these pieces out together, you can't help but see a very clear picture of a world that is in a profound and pretty turbulent moment of transition.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? As we look at everything that happened on January 26, 2026, are we just looking at a snapshot of pure chaos? Or are we actually witnessing the painful, messy, but maybe undeniable birth pangs of a whole new world order? It's definitely something to think about.